Michelle, the deal has just been signed now between the two countries, the Republic of Zimbabwe and the Republic of South Africa. And of course, we had the two ministers making that official signing of that deal. Remember that this is a project or conversation started as back as 2015, where the conversation started in terms of water agreements or water project agreements between the two countries. And of course, when it comes to South African side, it was necessary for this deal to be put together to assist the northern town of South Africa, Musina, with water. We know that for the past 12 months or the past 24 months, this city has been, embarked with protests where a lot of people were complaining about the lack of water. So this is one of the projects that is going to primarily benefit the people of Musina. But let's get more details about the deal. I'm joined now by Mr. Mlilo and Dr. Sean Phillips, who's the DG of Water and Sanitation here in South Africa. Dr. Sean, give us a sense of what this deal entails in terms of the practicalities and operational work that needs to start now, and if maybe there's any work that is started, because a lot of people are complaining about the lack of water in Musina. So in terms of time frames, what are we looking at as you add into the details of this deal?
So we've been looking at solutions to the problem of shortages of water and water supply disruptions in Musina. We've been looking at developing short-term, medium-term and long-term plans. As the Minister indicated, in the short term, we've been engaging with Vembe District Municipality to address problems with the existing infrastructure and making sure that it's repaired and better maintained, which is the responsibility of Vembe District Municipality. We've also been encouraging the District Municipality to partner with private sector partners in the area, which they've been doing to some extent to assist with getting the existing infrastructure in better condition. But that alone is not sufficient, because the problem is that this is a very dry area of the country, and at the moment there simply isn't enough water to meet the demand for treated water here in Musina. The options to develop other sources of water for Musina are very expensive. And in South Africa, water is self-financing. The government doesn't pay. You don't use your income tax money or VAT to fund water. Water needs to be funded by people paying for water. So if we're going to do a very expensive scheme to develop new water sources here in the Musina area, the residents of Musina and businesses in the area will have to pay for it through increased tariffs. But we found that there's a cheaper option across the border in Zimbabwe. There's a water treatment works at Bait Bridge, which is underutilized, and it's much more cost effective to provide for the medium-term needs of this area by procuring from Zimbabwe that spare treated water capacity which is there.
Let's talk the finances, if we may, Dr. Phillips. This is going to be water that's coming out of Zimbabwe. So in terms of terms and conditions, what is this project likely going to cost the South African taxpayers? And do we have the budget so far? And what's the project estimates in terms of what this project is going to cost us as taxpayers here in South Africa?
So as I indicated, water in South Africa is not funded by taxpayers. It's self-financing. In other words, it's funded by the users of the water. So the residents and businesses in Musina must pay the local municipality for the water that they use. Part of that money is used for maintenance, and part of the money is used for development. So the way this project is going to be financed is that the Vembe District Municipality, which is the water services authority for this area, will need to enter into a long-term water supply agreement with the Zimbabwean implementing agent and with the South African implementing agent, which is the Development Bank of Southern Africa, so that over the long term the finance that will be used to build the pipeline from Bait Bridge will be funded in that way. So it's not the South African taxpayer in general that is going to pay. What we've done today is signed an overarching MOU which enables then the detailed design work to be done. We can't work out the total cost of the pipeline and the pump stations until that detailed work is going to be done. But what is certain is that it's much more cost effective to do it this way than to build a whole new water treatment works, which would be very expensive.
Isn't that too risky, though, to be dependent on local authorities and local stakeholders to fund this project through paying for water? Should they fail to do that, doesn't that put this project at a vulnerable risk in terms of not being completed if people that you suggested should be paying for this money do not pay?
Well, the same can be said for any water project anywhere in South Africa. For example, in Gauteng, we're currently building Lesotho Highlands Phase 2, which is going to cost more than 40 billion rand. That project will also have to be funded by people who buy water in municipalities, from municipalities and industrial users in Gauteng. It's the model is the model for how water in South Africa is delivered. People must pay for water, industries must pay for water that they use, so that water can be provided.